Good afternoon, my fellow bikers, my fellow Americans, my fellow human beings. I got to fix my thing real quick here now that I've gone live. So bear with me just one moment while we wait for a few people to come on the video. Now that I've changed that, they'll be able to. We are a public event now, so come on, you guys, join us. Today's going to be an educational video, and I'm going to keep it fairly short and to the point. We will take some commentary. If anybody wants to join me in this discussion, feel free. We'd appreciate having you. Would appreciate your views. The more the merrier, you know. But this is going to be educational. We're going to talk about house bills. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of other stuff. I've got two topics of discussion that I want to bring up today. Like I said, one is going to be educational on the house bills. Just waiting for a few people to come on here. Let YouTube notifications get out. Let me make sure we are good here on Facebook. We are, so those notifications can get out. We will get this thing rolling. So let me just go ahead and start this video. Let's get us started with a little thingy from our sponsor. Yes, as always, we're being brought to you by myhelmettalk.com. Please check out our webpage, check out our radio. Our radio station rocks. It's a lot of fun. It's got some classic country. It's got some classic rock. It's got some reggae. It's got some jazz. It's got some blues. It's got a little bit of the country style rap. And come on over and check us out. Give us a look. So let's get right into this. Like I said, I want to keep this short and I want to keep it to the point. So let's talk about a few things here and do a little educational curve, because I'll tell you what, I've spent the last few days reading house bills, and it's like watching paint dry. Most people aren't going to go take the time to do it. So what we're finding is people are making memes. They are just making posts and putting in information that, first of all, isn't verifiable, and second of all, untrue. If you can't find a source and verify it, how can you back up what you're posting? So it's kind of crazy. I've taken on this plight to figure these house bills out, and I'll tell you, it is pretty cool. And that website, because you can see what all's going on in Congress and the Senate. You can see what's waiting on the Senate. You can see what the House has pushed through and approved. And we're going to look at all that. We're going to look at that. And I'm going to show you guys how you can look and see who's approving, who's disapproving what, so that when it comes time for you to go to the polls, you can be a little bit educated. We don't always get the whole story by watching the political ads on TV, reading the billboards, reading the signs, listening to the other people. But if you dig in and go find the information, it's there. You can see what they believe in. You can see how they vote, what they're voting for, what they're voting against. And it gives you a good idea about, do I want to vote for that person or not? It don't matter if they got a red R or a big blue D in front of their name. If they don't represent and stand for the things that you want them to represent and stand for, why vote for them just because of a designation by their name? I'll tell you, in all my research and stuff that I've been doing the last few years, but really hard lately, I found that there's a lot of discrepancy. There's a lot of downside to no matter what color that designation is or what letter it is by the name. So you've got to dig into stuff, and that's what we're doing. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. Because like I said, I want to keep it short. Today is the National Day of Prayer. You guys, we need prayers. We need to bring that back to our country. We need to bring the solidarity. We need to bring, during 9/11, this country got so close together and stood together for a common cause. We need to continue to do that. And this division, I'll tell you what this thing has done. I'm not going to go into a lot of this, because like I said, this is an educational video, but it is shown that we can be divided and fight amongst each other. Fight over toilet paper. My gosh, what's going to happen when there ain't no food to get if we're fighting over toilet paper? So, all right. On March 13th, 2020, I made a video. And in that video, we talked about HR 6201 that was put before the 116th Congress. And it's titled Families First Coronavirus Response Act. We talked about that. We went through it a little bit. We pulled it up. And if you go back to that video is titled Let's Talk Rational. If you go back to that video on YouTube, on my website, in Facebook, you can find it anywhere and watch that video. You can see the things that we talk about. You can find the links to HR 6201 House Bill in that video. So that bill, I read the critics say less than 3% chance that bill will ever see the light of day. And the reason behind that is, first of all, it's like 124 pages long. And the first few, I'm not going to give a number on how many, but the first few of those pages have anything to do with coronavirus. The rest of that is a bunch of stuff that the bill creators put in there to slide through. There's a reason why President Trump said he will not approve that bill until it's been fixed. And I can tell you right now, it came through the House and it's sitting at the Senate, and I don't think you'll see it go any further than that. I don't think I think it's dead. It's dead right there at the Senate, and it's going to stay there. And that is House or HR 6201. Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Okay, so that is a true statement when they say that bill has not been approved by the president. It has not made it through the Senate. Like I said, it's dead at the Senate. It came through the House, the Democrats. It's got all the approvals through the House, but it is stuck at the Senate, and it's going to stay that way. And like I said, it's 124 pages long. Go back to my video, Let's Talk Rational, or just go to the website. It is GovTrack US, and type in HR 6201 and pull it up. And I'll tell you, yesterday I spent hours. I read through about 50 pages of that. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not a lawyer. And so it is, it's crazy to try to read the stuff that they have in there. But I'll tell you, I made it through about 50 pages and I gave up. And then it was a lot of rhetoric and a lot. And like I said, the first few pages pertained to what the bill is titled, and the rest of it was a bunch of other stuff. And you can go read that for yourself. I'm not going to go into it. We're not going to waste a lot of time on it. I'm just telling you there's reasons why that bill is not going to go through. It ain't going to make it through the Senate. So we don't have to worry about the president not signing it, because he'll never see it. It won't make it to his desk. All right. Now let's go to the The bill that we are talking about, HR 6074, Coronavirus Preparedness and Response Supplemental Appropriations Act 2020. I get talking too fast sometimes. I talk faster than I can keep up with. This bill, let me put it up here on the screen for you. I'm not just going to talk. I'm going to show you. I like to do this, and here's what we're talking about. Here's the facts, just the facts, ma'am. They're right here. HR 6074, Coronavirus Preparedness and Response Supplemental Appropriations Act 2020. Now, you can go, there's a lot of different places you can go. So if you go right here up here, let me highlight this. If you go right up here where it says summary, you can click on that. Right now, when you pull it up, it gives you an overview. You can go to the summary, click that, and it'll give you a summary of what it's about. Let's go over this summary real quick. Bear with me. The summary below is written by the Congressional Research Service, which is a nonpartisan division of the Library of Congress, and was published March 5th, 2020. The Coronavirus Preparedness and Response Supplemental Appropriations Act 2020. This bill provides $8.3 billion in emergency funding for federal agencies to respond to the coronavirus outbreak. Within the Department of Health and Human Services, the bill provides fiscal year 2020 supplemental appropriations for the Food and Drug Administration, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institutes of Health, and the Public Health and Social Services Emergency Fund. In addition, the bill provides supplemental appropriations for the Small Business Administration, the Department of State, and the U.S. Agency for International Development. The supplemental appropriations are designated as emergency spending, which is exempt from discretionary spending limits. The program funded by the bill address issues such as developing, manufacturing. Let's make this bigger so you can see it. Can you guys see that? Developing, manufacturing, down here, and procuring vaccines and other medical supplies, grants for state, local, and tribal public health agencies and organizations, loans for affected small businesses, evacuations, and emergency preparedness activities at U.S. embassies and other State Department facilities, and humanitarian assistance and support for health systems in the affected countries. The bill also allows HHS to temporarily waive certain Medicare restrictions and requirements regarding telehealth services during the coronavirus public health emergency. That is the summary. Put me back up there a little bit. Now, if you go over here next to summary, it says details. You can click that, and now we can look at different things. I'm doing this educational for those of you that will go or want to take the time to go look at stuff. I spent a lot of time figuring out how to do it, and so I'm sharing those with you. Hit the details. There's no co-sponsors. The committee house. So right here, it shows you. It passed the House 415-2 on March 4th. It passed the Senate at March 5th, 96-1. So you can see those. Now, if you want to see, let's go up here and look at the House vote. We can see how the votes come in, how they come out. Let's make this bigger again so you guys can see this in the video. There we go. Let's get this over here. Okay. So right here, the totals. You had 415 yay votes, 2 nay votes, and 13 that didn't vote. So if you want to look at your House representatives and you want to see how they're voting so that you know if you want to keep them in when their name comes on the ballot, you can just keep scrolling right on down. And again, this is in the tab that the details, under the details tab. Now I got to make this a little bit smaller so you can see it all. So now if you go down on that, it shows you the vote details. So you can see right here, we're right here on the page, that Andy Biggs, Arizona Republican, voted nay. He voted against the bill. Over here, Ken Buck, Republican, Colorado, voted nay as well. Then if you want to see how they voted, you can go down and it gives it to you by state. So you can find your representatives. Say you live in, let's just go down here and do, well, let's just go to Nevada. All right, Nevada, right here. They all voted yes. There's 3 Democrats and 1 Republican in the House that represents the state of Nevada, and they all voted yes. Let's find one of these. Let's go to Colorado since they had a no vote, or Arizona. Arizona's got a lot of them, but let's go to Colorado. Might be easier to look at. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy with this. Colorado, right here. So they've got 3 Republican House members and 4 Democrat House members. Of all those, they all voted yay, except for Ken Buck. He's the 4th district or 4th quadrant, whatever it is over there in Colorado. Not sure what part of Colorado that is, but your representative in the 4th district of Colorado voted no against funding the act to supply funds. So that's how you look at that stuff, you guys, if you don't know. And there's a bunch. So you can go through, you can just go find your state and see how your people are voting. That way you know when their name shows up on the ballot, if they're voting opposite of how you believe and how you want them voting, that's the time to vote them out and get the people in there that will take care of business for the people that they represent. We don't represent them. They represent us. And we're their boss. They're not our boss. They're not there to tell us. We're there to tell them how we want it done. And they're there to take care of business, right? And look after the best interests of their district, their state, so on and so forth. So now if we go back, we've kind of looked through that. And then if you want to see during the Senate, here's the same thing. There was 96 yay votes and 1 nay vote in the Senate on this bill. Let's just take a look. Let's go down here. Kentucky, Rand Paul, Republican, voted against it in the Senate. Go back down. Let's go to, they're just a little bit different. They're all yay votes except for Kentucky. So, but if you go through here and you look, and you read the bill or just read the summary, you don't have to read the whole bill. This one is about 8 pages long. So they've trimmed it from the 124 pages of the other one that was full of stuff that they were trying to slide in. And President Trump said that, and he got a lot of hate and grief over it. But it's our job to keep these guys in check. And it's the president's job to keep them in check. If he were to sign that, he would sign in a bunch of legislation, bunch of laws that have no business being enacted, that favors one side of the political agenda. And so there's reasons, you guys, there's reasons. And I'll tell you, the hate has gotten so out of hand and so crazy that people don't care about the truth anymore. The hate is so great. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't care about the truth. they just want President Trump out of there. But I'll tell you, do your research. Just do your own research. I'm not an analyst. I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I am a very patriotic American that loves this country and believes in the freedom that this country provides us and the protections. And I will stand up and I will spend a day reading House bills to bring you factual, true information. And that's why we're doing this. It's kind of interesting. My spouse was working yesterday, so I didn't have, there's a lot of stuff I could have been doing, but I chose to spend my afternoon reading up on the 6021. I was going to read the whole thing, but like I said, I made it through just about 50 pages and I was done. That was all I could take. The analysts even put a comment in there on their analyzing of that bill that it would, even if you're a lawyer, it may be impossible to read through that whole thing. It was just crazy, but there's reasons why it wasn't passed, but not because the president-elect wanted to withhold funds and put us at harm. You guys, man, oh man, the hatred, you got to get over it. You've got to get over it. We had to spend 8 years with a president that we did not agree with, that we didn't like how things were going. And we spent 8 years just getting through the 8 years. Now, you're probably going to have the same. President Trump, in my humble opinion, will be here for another 4 years. We need him. He's doing a great job. And you're going to have him for another 4 years. You're going to have to deal with it. I don't like everything he says. I don't like everything he does. But the thing that I do like, and I've been accused of being a lover of Trump, and I'm not. I really am not. But I am a lover of America and the freedom that America holds. And President Trump is on the front line taking all of this abuse. He's a billionaire, for crying out loud. He can be doing whatever he wants to be doing. He don't need to be doing this. He's taking all this abuse to help the American people. If you can't see how close you are to being running under socialism, man, it is horrible. We need to stay away from that. It is no way to live. So back to my fact finding mission here, my educational. So this is the Senate, 2 no's, or 1 no, and 3 did not vote, and 96 yays. And if you want to see who didn't vote, you can go down here and you just got to go through them. And let's find, okay, so here's one right here, right up. Well, let's click this. Okay, so right up here, right up front, Elizabeth Warren, imagine that, Democrat, Massachusetts. She did not vote at all. So, I mean, what's a fail to answer is a no answer. I don't know. That's how I see it, but join me. Jordan, Ken, thank you guys for joining me. Yeah, you are right. Very, very, very much. We had to deal with a lot of criminality for 8 years. And in my opinion, that's a lot of the problem today, because all that's being exposed and being overturned and changed. And some of the people don't like that. They don't want the truth. Like I said, some people just can't handle the truth and don't want it. The other no, or another no vote, was Bernie Sanders, independent Vermont. Bernie did not vote on this bill at all. There you go. Think about that. Why would he not vote? He's your socialist wannabe leader, you guys. Come on. No vote. I'm trying to see. I want to see who else didn't vote. Oh, down here all the way at the bottom. Oh, man. Michael Enzi, Republican, Wyoming, no vote. Now, no vote doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, they could have been absent or something. It don't tell us that. But yeah, Michael Enzi, Wyoming. Step up your game there, Mr. Enzi. But anyway, he didn't vote. John Barrasso, Wyoming, voted yeah for this bill. But it doesn't matter. The bill passed, you know. So it was a 96-1 vote. Yeah, absolutely it passed, and absolutely it needed to. The funds needed to be there to buy the test kits, put up the testing booths, so, you know, all that. Somebody's got to pay for all that, and you and I are paying for it. Our tax dollars pay for it. So at the end of the day, we're paying for it anyway. But at least the funds are being allocated to do so, to bring those things in. Excuse me. My coffee's getting cold. So let's see where else this go. Okay, so our next tab, let's go back up here. Our next tab up here is text. So if you want to see the bill, what it looks like, you go to that and you click on the text and it'll give you the bill, and you can go through each page by page. This is how it was shown when it passed Congress on March 6th. And if you want to download a PDF, you can go right here, which I do. It'll bring up the PDF and it tells you it's 12 pages. So, folks, we went from 124 pages to 12 pages and accomplished what needed to be accomplished. Enzi's retiring, Ken? Is that what you're saying? But anyway, so we accomplished what needed to be accomplished in 12 pages. So that tells you out of 124 pages, there was probably 112 pages of stuff that your Democratic National Committee, your party, tried to slide through, which didn't need to go through. It had nothing to do with this. It had nothing absolutely to do with this. They tried to use, this is a famous thing that they do. They tried to use this event, this crisis, if you will, to push through stuff that they wanted to get pushed through. Problem is, here's the problem. President Trump, yep, he's the problem, because he looks out for the betterment, good of the American people first. Now, I say that, and then I'm also going to say that bill never made it through the Senate. So the president didn't get a chance to sign it. It's got to go through the Senate first, and it's stuck there. But this is what it looks like if you want to look at what the doggone thing looks like. It's just, man, you try to read this stuff, you can sit and read it. It's okay to do, but it's long, drawn out, and it says a lot of stuff that you have no idea what it's saying. You get the gist of it. Like, let's read this paragraph here. It's small. The United States Agency for International Development, funds appropriated to the President, Office of Inspector General, for an additional amount for Office of Inspector General, $1 million to remain available until September 30th, 2022 for oversight of activities funded by this title and administered by the United States Agency for International Development, provided that such amount is designated by Congress as being for an emergency requirement by the Congress of being for requirement pursuant to section 251B2AI of the Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act of 1985. When you choose to read one of these, this is the stuff that you're reading. Exactly, Ken. And that's why I'm doing this video, because most of the people are not going to take the time or do not have the time to sit down and pick through this stuff. Like I said, I had stuff to do yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon. I consumed myself with this, and I did a lot of research. I did a lot of reading, And it takes a lot of time, and most people aren't going to do that. And that is the reason that I have chose to take this on and share it with you guys so that you can see what we're up against. So anyway, the text, we're back over here under the text. This is the PDF. So if you click that PDF and then hit your download button, it'll download it. When we get done, I will download me a copy. I have a copy of the other one, 6021. That one's going to go nowhere. I'll probably delete that one. But I wanted to see what was in it that caused it to get held up at the Senate. And I can't remember all the stuff, but there was a lot of stuff that just had nothing to do with response or corona or anything about that. There was a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I said, I urge you to go pull it up and read it if you got the time. Skip the first 10 pages or so, or 5 pages or whatever, and that's the part that pertains to the coronavirus. The other 120 pages are all other stuff. But so anyway, so then here's the text in its entirety. Same thing we just looked at on the PDF. And it gives you a reference to laws and regulations that pertain to this and that. And that's that same section we read. International disaster assistance. For an additional amount for international disaster assistance, $300 million to remain available until expended for necessary expenses to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus, provided that such amount is designated by the Congress as being for an emergency requirement pursuant to Section 251B2AI of the Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act of 1985. Economic Support Fund, right here, the very next, for an additional amount of $250 million to remain available until September 30th, 2022, for necessary expenses to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus, including to address related economic security and stabilization requirements, provided that such amount is designated emergency through 25BA, all that stuff. You guys, it's all here. It's all here. It's all signed by the president already. Oh, now let's go. So then if you go here to the study guide, it'll give you tips on how to get through this thing. How to get through this thing to find out who sponsored it, who's voted for it, who did, and all that stuff. I did go through those, and a lot of that I've just showed you from my learning from it. So, but anyway, it'll teach you how to study the bill, learn what it's about without having to read the 12 pages word for word, not knowing what you're reading about half of that time. So anyway, that's what that page is for. I did this to show you guys how simple it is to find the information. You're on the internet, you're looking at stuff, and people are posting stuff faster than you can read it, and you're getting fed this information. And sometimes they'll post stuff and you're like, well, that don't sound right. I want to know if that's true. So you go and you start Googling and you try to find information on it, and you can't find any information on it. Bam. Investigations 101, that tells you that's a big red flag. You can't find any information on it. Huh. Oh, yeah, this just drives me crazy. But oh, this just goes down and through the text of it. We've already done that. I just wanted to see what that button done. I don't know if I'd ever push that one. But yeah, get on your computers and push the buttons. I was trying to see somewhere in one of these, it goes through. Let's see what the legislation's saying here. If you want to see what the legislation's saying, you can go through the, let me go back. Position statements right here. What the legislature are saying right there. Click on these and you can read them. So if you go here, Rep. Doug Collins out of Georgia, District 9, you can read his thoughts on it, and talks about health care and his comments. And he's a Republican, Georgia. Okay. And he gives his comments on what he thinks about it. And he goes on to say how Trump and Pence, our public health officials, are taking bold action to prevent the spread of this coronavirus, to protect the health and safety of Americans. And yet you have people sitting there saying that our POTUS is doing nothing. Oh, and he waited, and he started shutting down borders right off the bat as soon as we heard about it, clear back in January. I just looking at this one, but anyway, I am just kind of rambling on at this point. We've gone through what I wanted to go through with that. Educate yourselves, people. Let's take that one down. Educate yourselves. It's really simple. It's really easy. The information is there. If you got nothing but time, take some of that time and fact check some of this crap that you see coming across your newsfeed. You cannot believe everything that's coming across there. And today, you really can't believe most of it, in all reality. You've got to go look for yourself. And I urge you, and I'm just as bad. I see something that I like what it says, and I forward it on before I do my fact check. And I guess, I'm talking to me as much as you guys. It's probably a good idea for us to do our fact checking before we send it on. I don't want to be spreading false crap. The stuff that I spread, I want it to be factual and educational, if you will, not to attack anybody, not to attack any party. Like I said, there is fault on all the sides of the parties. There is. I steer, and I'm biased towards the Republican Party because I like that they stand for our freedom, America, life, liberty, justice for all. I like that stuff. That's the stuff that we were founded on, and it's the stuff I believe in wholeheartedly, and will stand up and fight for my beliefs, my rights, your rights. All right. Now, during this time, we've gone over the bill. We've talked about it. I've showed you how to use the website a little bit. During this time, some things have risen that very un-American, very low, very underhanded. And I want to talk about that for just a minute. And then I will end this. Like I said, I wanted to keep this short. We're not really keeping it short. We're kind of in there. But let me put this page up a little bit. So much of this going on. This isn't the only guy that has done this. This article is cited. Everything is cited. The bill is referenced, and this page is referenced as well. The only two things we're going to talk about today, and they're both in the reference material, so you can click them and look it up for yourself. I want to talk about this for a minute because it's just anti-American. It's greed. Some might think it's entrepreneurial and free enterprise. My belief is you can cross that line and cross that line of greed and corruption. I mean, that's how it starts, folks. Let me make this bigger. We can see it here. That's this dude's garage. He and his brother, this is in Utah, northern Utah. Let's see where they're from. Somewhere here it says. Oh, not in Utah. It's in Tennessee and Kentucky. Okay. There was some others that were in Utah that I had seen earlier. So I was wrong on that. Tennessee, Kentucky area. So what these brothers did is they took their pickup truck as soon as they heard of the coronavirus, and they went around and started buying the hand sanitizers, the wipes, the bleaches, baby food supplies, water, and for some reason, toilet paper. I still don't understand how that comes into play. With the intent of marking the stuff up and selling it on eBay and Amazon. Good little family. Good intentions, yes or no? Give me your thoughts on it, somebody. Tell me what you think. I mean, look at this. It's out. It's crazy. There are so many people right now that can't get anything. The people that did this kind of stuff they ended up getting a U-Haul and going to all the stores in like 2 states, Kentucky and Tennessee, and wiping them out of everything off the shelves. To sell, to mark up and sell, to turn a profit. There's so many people that can't get the stuff they need. Elderly people, people that live paycheck to paycheck, those who can't shop weeks at a time or a month at a time, those who shop daily, those who shop every week, whatever the case might be. They're running out of the things they need. They're running out of baby food, toilet paper, your general food items, and they can't get it because you've got these people doing this crap. You've got these people standing in line waiting for the stores to open, running people down with their carts and stuff to get to the stuff, and not letting the people who really need. This guy don't need shit. He don't need anything. He's got enough supplies there to last a dang two states worth of cities for months to come. He don't need anything. Why is he beating people down and taking it from somebody who does need it? Barbaric, you guys. We are better than that. We are Americans. We are better than that. We look out for one another. We always have. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Help your neighbor, love your neighbor. If you know somebody that needs a roll of toilet paper and you've got an extra one, give it to them. I know most of the people that watch this will, but there's enough people that's doing that stuff that it's created a problem. It is now a serious problem. The stores cannot keep their shelves full because people that started doing this created panic in other people. They have caused reasonable people to act unreasonably and do unreasonable things. When you walk into your store and you see that the shelves are starting to empty, what's your first thoughts? Oh my gosh, pretty soon it's going to all be gone. I better. So now I hoard a bunch of shit. Joe hoards it. Fred hoards it. Sally, Sandra, their neighbor sees them doing it. They run out and do it. And now the stores cannot keep up with the demand. The supply and demand chain is it's crazy. It's off the charts. And the stores cannot keep up. All the stores around here that were 24 hours a day have had to set hours. They're closing one closes at 10. We've only got 2 big ones, but one closes at 10, one closes at 11, and don't open up till 6 and 8 the next day. They used to be 24 hours. Do you know why they have to do that? Because these kind of people that are freaking the crap out won't let them stock their shelves. I'm close to people that work at these giant retail stores, and I can tell you the things that are happening are they're going out with groceries. They only get so many trucks a day, and as soon as a truck comes in, people are accusing these stores of hoarding themselves, or hoarding the products themselves in their back rooms. That is so stupid. Go down there and help. Go throw some boxes. Go help unload these trucks. You've got elderly women or elderly people and women unloading these trucks. It's beating them up, and they're doing it to put the stuff on the shelf for you. They go out and try to put their stuff up. You guys empty their cart before they can put it on the shelves right over the top of them, knock them out of the way. Come on, guys. Come on. Ladies, gentlemen, people, humans, Americans. We're better than this. You are better than this. We are better than this. Stop. As soon as we stop acting like that, it'll stop being a problem. Stop going and buying everything off the shelf. Let the lady with 2 little kids that can only shop on payday have some bread and milk and cereal for her kids and some formula. Oh my gosh. Somebody went and bought all the formula up. And the other day there was a lady with a baby that was out of formula. She's one of those people that can't buy months in advance. And she goes to buy, and she can't get any formula to feed her dang baby with. Stupid. Knock it off. We're Americans. We're humans. Love your neighbor. Get along. Help each other. All we've done is proven that we could. Everybody worries about the apocalypse, man. You guys be dead in 2 days, or 2 weeks, whatever. You could not survive. All right. You guys, I urge you to do your research. Go look for things. Look things up. Sometimes it's hard. Our social media is biased. The information's there. Our search engines, Google. The information's there, but you got to dig. You need to go down some pages and you need to find the information you're looking for. It's there. It's just not popping right up. Okay. Do your homework. Spend the time. Help spread facts, not fiction, not fear. We got to stop with this fear. We need to stand up. We need to stand together. Stand together. You unite and stand together, or separate and fall, and we're going to fall hard. That's all I got to say today. Thanks for joining me. Go check out that bill. Go check out that House bill. I'm tired of seeing information that our president isn't allowing funds. It's there. The funds are there. They've allocated them. It's there. It's all approved, signed, sealed, delivered. Say a prayer. Today is National Prayer Day. Say a prayer for our nation. Say a prayer for our leadership. Say a prayer for our first responders, our military. Say a prayer for your neighbor, for all of us. We need it. These times don't need to be this rough. Have a good day. Peace. I'm out.